I adopted my dog Tank when I was 20. He had minor issues like leash walking and prey drive, issues that I fixed. This dog is a saint, never bit anyone or shown any aggression. He's very well trained and now he's 5 years old and 60 pounds. My boyfriend and I live in an apartment with my dog. We moved in together last year, but we've been dating for 4 years. In December, my boyfriend's mom invited herself to come visit us in the summer. Now when she decided this, we were under the impression that she would stay at a hotel or something. We live in a small, really small 2-bedroom apartment, but we use the second room as a shared office space. But whatever, we'll deal. We can throw in a bed and move the room around. However, 3 weeks ago, she was talking to my boyfriend saying she would be staying for 2 weeks because she wanted to sightsee and because she really wanted to be with us. I could tell he was happy about this because he misses her and doesn't get to see her a lot because we live so far away from her. I wasn't going to argue with it because I know it makes him happy. However, then she called again last week. She told my boyfriend that she wouldn't feel comfortable if Tank was in the apartment with her because he's big and you can't trust dogs like that. She said she didn't feel comfortable with his size or breed. Also that he could be unpredictable because I got him a yearish old and don't know about his past. She asked my boyfriend if he would have my dog boarded the whole time while she was there. He brought it up 3 days ago and I immediately said no. He asked me if I would think about it and I said no again. Now he's angry with me. I'm fine with everything else, but I draw the line at leaving Tank in a boarding facility for 2 weeks straight. I've never done something like that with him. I don't want to risk anything. I even looked into it just at the pricing and it's too expensive. This is his home and he deserves to stay here. I've never had a problem with her before, but this is ridiculous. She's never met Tank in person before and she gets a lot of pictures and videos of him. When we video chat her, sometimes he joins in. She's never said anything about her concerns before. He isn't a bad dog, but she doesn't want him at the apartment at all while she's there. After about a week of silence, waiting for each other to bring this up, I bypassed my boyfriend and went to his mom. I reached out and talked about her feelings for Tank. It started out pleasant. Then I told her BF said that she wanted my dog boarded. I asked why she didn't feel comfortable with Tank. Her direct quote was, "You don't know what his past is. He's big and unpredictable and I don't want to be staying with that. It would be different if you knew, but you don't. I just don't feel comfortable sharing a space with a dog that may attack me for going to pee in the middle of the night or grabbing a cup of water." I was angry and didn't want to scream to make her upset, so I said very politely, "If you don't feel comfortable living with Tank for 2 weeks, even though your own son has been since August, you can stay in a hotel while you visit." And I hung up on her. My boyfriend got home a few hours later and was angry because I talked to her, made her upset, and then hung up on her. Now she thinks I hate her. He said I wasn't being fair to her. I asked why he wanted me to board Tank so badly. He knows he wouldn't attack her or do anything aggressive towards her. All he had to say was boiled down to, "Can't you just do it to make this whole thing easier? He's a dog." We argued at some point in circles. How Tank is a dog, he doesn't get rights in the apartment, and things got worse when I asked what would happen in the future if we were still together and she decided to visit when we were living in a house. He said that it would be different because we could put him in a room or something. So my dog has to be penalized for living in our home with us when your mom visits? When I adopted Tank, I took responsibility of taking care of him, making him my first priority, and treating him with respect as he is a living creature. I see him as I would a child. I do the same things for him as someone does for a child. He is family, 4 paws or not. I made a clear choice that night. While his mother may still be visiting whenever it is safe to do so, it won't be in this apartment. We came to a truth. This and other things we talked about are big and can't be ignored. We realized we don't want the same things and it's not something you can compromise on. So, this all started with what I thought would eventually be my future mother-in-law wanting me to board my dog and ended up with me and my boyfriend mutually breaking up after 4 years of dating.
Am I the asshole for being frustrated that my girlfriend doesn't work hard at her job and gets paid nearly twice as much as I do? My girlfriend and I both work in tech. When we both worked in different offices, I didn't know much about her day-to-day life at work. I knew she made a lot more than me, $120,000 compared to my $66,000. But since we've been working from home, I've seen a lot of her daily schedule, and hers versus mine are very different. She gets up around 9:15 to drag herself into the home office for her 9:30 to 10 o'clock meeting. After the meeting, she goes and showers, has breakfast, and from about 10 to 10:45, answering just a few Slack messages and emails on her phone, but mostly just listening to podcasts and eating and doing her morning routine. She'll work till noon and takes a lunch break from noon till 1. Then she works from 1 to 4, often having meetings or working on her own stuff. And at 4, we'll spend an hour or so doing household chores and stuff. I, on the other hand, basically work nonstop from 8:30 to 5, or maybe even 6, working 8.5 hours, 9.5 hours a day. And a few weeks ago, I kind of got frustrated with her for basically hardly doing anything for her job. She got frustrated with me and said that they hired her for her knowledge, and it wasn't my place to say what her time was worth. And that if her boss and CEO saw the work she produced, that it wasn't my place to undervalue her because I was being jealous. I said that she was being a little privileged. Not a lot of people can just choose to make 6 figures and wander off from work for practically half the day.
Am I the asshole for calling out a wealthy friend for not donating to a GoFundMe for a friend's relative's cancer treatment? So the relative of a friend in our friend group just had a cancer diagnosis, and now they're working out costs of the treatment. Basically, they won't be able to afford the hospital bills without help, so they set up a GoFundMe. Our friends all donated some money to the fundraiser, around $20 to $50, because any amount helps. But one of our wealthier friends decided not to donate a single cent. It's been weeks after the fundraiser has been launched, and that friend hasn't donated anything. We asked him and he's like, "Oh, that sucks, I hope everything's okay." And that was it. My friend is nearly a millionaire. He's the wealthiest person in our friend group. Most of it is from his parents' wealth. He's not in any financial emergency right now. So why would you not donate? It's not like you have any grudge against our friend in need, let alone their relative. I called him out and he's like, "Look, it's a really crappy situation and I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope our friend will be fine. But I'm not going to donate." And then he got annoyed and said that we were being stingy, even though he can easily donate a few $100s.
Am I the asshole for breaking my promise to my stepkids, and abandoning and traumatizing them because I did not want to parent them anymore? I met Will when I was 22. Will was 29, with 2 kids, and had newly been widowed. We had whirlwind courtship where he introduced me to the kids and got me involved in their lives very early. First few days after I met him, Will said really quickly he was sure I was the one. Not only for himself but also for his kids. That we'd have an incredible, happy family life. We got married when I was 23, Will was 30, and his kids were 8 and 6. Our wedding ceremony also included me and the kids making promises to each other, which was Will's idea. Soon Will shoved all the childcare onto me. I wasn't a stay-at-home spouse, I worked full-time and always have. But he always had reasons for me to do the childcare, him being sore from doing a physical job, me being better at it since I babysat kids this age in the past and he never had. Or girl stuff for his daughter. Or cooking or anything. He always had some reason and it ended up always on me. He started playing video games and relaxing from getting home until bed, because he was tired and he was bringing in the money and keeping the roof over everyone's heads, though that wasn't really true. He said he deserved to relax. Then he went out with his friends or brought them back to drink beer and watch loud TV. He developed a major attitude with me, and encouraged same in the kids. They found it funny. He started openly disrespecting me and encouraged them to also. He was the ultimate fun dad and I got put in the role of the mean witch. Sometimes they all ganged up on me and mocked me. But also all expected me to serve them and constantly be jumping up to care for them. By the end of the first year I realized the marriage was a big mistake, but felt guilty leaving because of my promises to the kids. Another year went by and I realized that no matter how I tried, and how I knew they were only kids and I didn't really blame them, I genuinely hated both of the kids. And I could not lie to myself anymore and pretend that I loved them. I did not, and I never would. One day I just walked out, packed up everything of mine and moved out while nobody was at home. I left a note explaining it wasn't working and saying goodbye. That was the end. Cue shitstorm from my ex and a bitter divorce, but we both walked away with what we went into the marriage with, not much for either of us. I had never legally adopted the kids so I had no rights or responsibilities about them and I never reached out to any of them again. Honestly I was overjoyed to be rid of all of them. 15 years have gone by and that seems like a lifetime ago, or another person's life, but I'm still in my 30s. I was recently shocked to get a message from Tamara, Will's daughter, now 25. Tamara said I betrayed and traumatized her for life for abandoning them after my promises to them. She said I had a responsibility to never leave no matter what. I know she remembers the horrible way she treated me though.
Am I the asshole for hiring security for my wedding? I, 25 female, am getting married to my fiancé, 26 male, next spring. My father's girlfriend and her 2 children, whom I've known since I was 9 years old, are not invited. My stepmother would steal my belongings, try to get me diagnosed with disorders I didn't have, and go into rages. When I was 16, I left my dad's house and cut off all contact with them for years. When my fiancé proposed, it struck me that I'd have nobody to walk me down the aisle. I reconnected with my father and began repairing my relationship with him. His girlfriend and her kids were still in the picture, so I was polite to them but only tried to come when they weren't around. Well, my stepmother walked in on me and my father while we were going over wedding plans and she mentioned that she hadn't got an invite yet. Am I the asshole for hiring security for my wedding? This made things awkward because I hadn't sent her an invitation because I didn't want her to come, nor her kids. None of them apologized or even acknowledged my childhood except my dad. I tried to give her the chance to, but she got very sulky with me and stormed off. I'm assuming so she could whine about me to her friends on Facebook like she would do when I was a kid. A couple weeks ago, she sent me a message that said, "Can't wait to see you on your big day." I called a friend from school who just started his own security company and offered him his first ever contract, my wedding. He thanked me for the contract on Facebook and tagged me. My family saw it and said security would bring down the mood. My dad's side thinks I'm psycho, paranoid, etc. because you don't need a whole security team to keep out one lady. Am I the asshole for taking back my wedding dress after my sister-in-law took back my invitation? My sister-in-law and I are like sisters. Same age, same interests, hobbies, same style and fashion, etc. Her family are vicious people. They always comment on me and my wife and act as if we're less than. We ignore them and only see them on big occasions. My sister-in-law liked my wedding dress a lot and asked me to wear it for her wedding. I said of course and was thrilled it meant that much to her. I sent the dress and received the invitation. I noticed my wife's name wasn't on the invitation. I called my sister-in-law to ask and she told me that they were giving her hell for inviting me and my wife because they don't like us for obvious reasons, and they agreed. She apologized profoundly, saying that she hoped I'd understand because her parents are paying for the wedding. She said they even messed with the entire guest list, so I shouldn't take it personal. I said I won't come unless my wife comes. She got upset and told me to let it go, but I refused and she ended up taking back the invitation, saying she was sorry, she just didn't want the drama. I said no hard feelings and asked my brother to send back the dress. My sister-in-law came over crying, begging me to let her have it since she's not the one with the budget and her parents told her to pay for her own wedding dress, but she has no money. My parents told me to let her have it and reminded me of how strong our bond is. It clearly wasn't that strong.
My husband has been pooping in the bathtub.
Intentionally?
Like waffle stomping it?
Yeah, I can't believe I'm writing this. For a while, there's been a faint smell of poop when I go to the shower, yet no poop in the toilet. I always figured it must just be someone pooped earlier that day. It is us and 2 kids in this house, so... Well, yesterday, rushing to get ready for work, I opened the bathroom to see an actual turd sitting there on the edge of the tub. And him with his phone, taking pictures.
Caught brown-handed.
Ew, I don't like that.
So how else did he get it out of the toilet?
He exploded at me to get the fuck out. When we finally had a talk where he explained he just likes to look at them. And will poop sometimes outside the toilet to see them better. He also posted the picture he took here on Reddit for people to rate. I looked at his account and was horrified. Not only does he do this here, he's done it at his sister's house, at work, and in public bathrooms. He will post these locations like he is proud of it.
Like geotag?
Yeah.
Like at McDonald's, at Susie's place.
Bro, I'm upset.
He's apparently been doing this for over a year, probably longer. We have 2 kids. How can he knowingly take a shit on a place that they touch? He kept saying he's always cleaned it up, but obviously not enough if I was smelling it the whole time.
Correct.
Does he just not care? He cares a lot about his shit. That's the whole thing.
That's the thing, is he cares too much about it.
He told me he will do whatever the fuck he wants with his body and his private time, which I cannot accept.
You cannot my body, my choice shitting on a bathtub.
If he was the only one doing this in the toilet, weird, but whatever. The tub, public bathrooms, absolutely fucking not.
Mm-mm.
Now I am being accused of being controlling and a bitch. He is still giving me the silent treatment, except to criticize me. He left to sleep at a motel last night, checked his account with a bad feeling. Guess what? This very morning he was posting from the motel. He says this is completely normal. That's just a guy thing, and lots of guys have a dumb appreciation for their poops.
I mean, clearly, because there's a subreddit for it. But also, like, this is the one instance where I will say not all men.
Okay, do they all also extensively document on the internet, detailing when and where they took a shit? What his BM felt like? Going to really gross details describing the poop? I've never heard of this, so I don't buy it. I'm just at a loss to how to get through to him how incredibly disgusting this is. I don't even want to touch him now. We have had sex when he was basically playing with his shit earlier the same day. Please don't just tell me to divorce him over one thing, because our relationship is usually really good. He's a great father, and I know he loves our family. He's a very hard worker. I wasn't ever supposed to know about this. Now I can't unsee it. So that's just my problem to get over somehow.
I'm an asshole for breaking up with my boyfriend for someone else. I knew my ex since we were very young, and we always had feelings for each other, but he was always moving, so nothing ever really worked out. At the end of last year, we started talking and we confessed to still having feelings. We started dating in January. The first month was amazing. Then he started to show a lot of red flags. I thought I was in love. That was until I realized he was only using me for my money and texting his ex some questionable stuff, making my friends hate me more and more too. I started having feelings for someone else in May. In June, that guy confessed that he liked me, and my ex made me block him. Since this guy lives at my sister's, I saw him again in August. My sister's husband asked me to spend the night and I said sure. I was really happy since I would finally be sleeping without my boyfriend arguing with me and then leaving me to go see his ex. And that's when the other guy gave me a necklace. I've never been really spoiled before since my boyfriend didn't have a job, and it made me realize I still have feelings for the other guy. I slept in the same bed as him and we kissed. And I didn't break up with my boyfriend until 2 days later. After that, I started dating the new guy. My ex found out and came to my sister's house and broke the window. My new boyfriend treats me amazing and doesn't lay his hands on me like